This is everything you need to know about the autumn exams, whether you should take them or not, how to revise for them, the lot. I did autumn series exams last year. I took Greek A-level and actually I managed to get an A star. And since they were only invented for last year, there can't be that many people with first-hand experience of exactly how they are. So hopefully I have some really useful advice that I can share. Okay, so let's get straight into it. First of all, would I recommend doing these autumn series? Absolutely yes, but only if you have a good reason. So let's talk about what some good and bad reasons first of all. I think the only good reason to take these A-level autumn series is to have some version of a clear, actionable plan for a specific grade you need to increase. So let's go through some examples. If you had a university offer for triple B, but you actually got double B and a C, and you really wanted to go to that university, and they wrote to you and said, okay, you haven't got your grades, but if you were to redo one of the autumn series and get that C up to a B, so you now had your triple B, we would guarantee you a deferred place next year. I think that's a brilliant reason. It's very clear exactly why you need a certain grade to improve. That C needs to become a B so you can hit your minimum grades for your choice. The reason I did A-level Greek was somewhat similar. I wanted to apply to Oxford for Classics, which basically means Greek. And in my Greek, I didn't have an A star. And I thought to myself, well, Oxford really probably wants an A star in the subject you're taking for university. To be honest, they probably want an A star in all your subjects. And so I thought, in order to make the most competitive application, I really should do with getting my Greek A star. And thankfully I did manage to get an A star, and I also managed to get an Oxford place. And who knows how much of a difference that autumn series A star made in me getting a place or not, but we can only speculate. And talking about Oxford, if you want to see more videos in particular from October studying Oxford, please do subscribe and stick around. And also, if there's anything you want to see in particular video-wise, comment, and I'll probably do it because I reply to all the comments. I think it's really fun. But anyway, if a good reason to take one of these autumn series is because you have a clear, actionable grade improvement, now let's talk about some bad reasons instead, which I think are really common and you shouldn't fall into the trap of taking, even if this is your situation. The first one of these, the idea of personal satisfaction or pride. Some of you guys will have been done dirty by your results, and that really is a shame. But that reason alone, without a reason why you need a grade increase, is just not a good reason to take these autumn series. For example, maybe you got all 8s and 9s and you got that 1-7 that's niggling at you and you think, if I retook that, I could definitely get an 8 or a 9. Or if you're on all 6s and you got that 1-4 and you think, well, I could get at least the 6 hopefully as well. Unfortunately, you just have to swallow it and not do autumn series. Let me explain why. Number one, if you're thinking this might be your case, I imagine it's probably GCSEs. Because for A-levels, you're just going off to uni, so it would never be a thing. But maybe you're considering taking one of your GCSEs again in the autumn series of Year 12. Really don't do that. You need all the time possible in Year 12 to be focusing on your Year 12 studies. And if you have a GCSE you're doing at the same time, it just takes up too much headspace, it'll be too stressful. Whether it's a subject you're doing at A-level or not, just don't. Also, if you have 9 or 10, maybe even more GCSEs, and you're trying to resit one, that's not going to make a massive difference to your GCSE profile. And if you're thinking of taking more than one, that's also a bad idea. That's just even more stress. And really try hard not to take more than one autumn series if you can, at any point, whether it's a GCSE or an A-level, because then it's just really hard to revise. We'll talk more about revision later. And linking on to this point about it not making a massive difference to your GCSE profile, in general, people at GCSE tend to really overestimate how important GCSE grades are. It's very understandable. You've just done them. Maybe your teachers are telling you that you've worked from this for Year 7 to Year 11. It's 5 years, obviously going to be very important. But once you get to A-level, you realise that GCSEs aren't so important. Once you get to uni, you realise A-levels aren't so important. And in general, it's just about getting you to the next stage. So if you have the grades to get into your sixth form or college or whatever, honestly, that's fine. And no university is going to turn you away because you got 4 in that subject instead of a 7, or you got a 6 in that subject instead of a 9. They care way more about your whole university application and, in general, the grades you've done the last 2 years, so the A-levels themselves. If you need a specific grade to be able to do that subject at A-level, or a specific grade to meet the entry requirements for a different sixth form or college, then brilliant. That's a great reason to take these again. Just as I was talking about earlier, that's a clear, actionable improvement that needs to be made. But otherwise, if you're just frustrated and you feel a bit of personal pride that, actually, I know I could have done better than that, don't fall into that trap. Don't get too greedy, because it has so much more of a chance of impacting your Year 12 really badly. Let's go on to revision. This was me last year. I was revising probably right now, a year ago, but I actually started a bit before my results day anyway. I felt that it was a possibility that I would have to do a redo because I thought I might not get an A star, which in the end I was right about, and that was really useful because I had a bit of a head start. These autumn series will come quickly now. You've got 2 weeks left of summer maybe, September, and then you're back into school. So you should be honest with yourself about what position you're in for your subject now. Have you spent the time already just ticking it over, maybe not doing too much, but just being aware, or are you basically starting autumn series revision from now? Next, you probably will have to be better at your subject than you have ever been before for a grade increase. I think in 90% of the cases this year, your teacher probably gave you a grade that was relatively representative. And I know that was the case for me last year as well. It's not as if I was on an A star and I wasn't given it. I simply wasn't at that level, and I got a relatively fair grade, maybe a bit harsh but quite fair, and I had to spend that time actively improving to get to the A star where I could take it in the autumn. I hope that makes sense. What I'm basically saying is, if I'd taken the papers during that normal summertime that there would have been exams, I probably would have got a similar grade to the one my teachers gave me. Not an A star that I'm just have the right of place and I just need to take the exams and I'll saunter in and get it. I had to really work hard to improve my level. And that might be the same for you, especially if for whatever reason in school you didn't finish the whole course or your teachers cut out some of the course for obvious reasons. You should check, because in these autumn series you might be expected to know the whole course. So number one, you might not have done it for a while. Number two, you might never have truly been on that grade, to be honest, that you want, if you're honest with yourself, and you have to actively put in the effort to get there. And number three, you might not have even covered some of the content. So I have to be honest with you guys, it's going to be really hard, and there really are no guarantees. It's not as if you just sit the papers and you're guaranteed that new grade. You do have to put in an active effort to go from where you are right now to where you will be. And like I say, maybe where you were at your best was a few months ago, you maybe got a bit worse. So there is a gap to improve. You do need to be really honest with yourself as to whether you'll put in the work and how realistic you think it is. But as a bit of a reality check, if you've heard all of this, you're nodding to yourself, you're thinking, yeah, I can do that, yeah, I'm on the right lines, yeah, I really need this, that's probably a really good sign that autumn series exams are for you, and it sounds like you have a really good shot of improving your grades. And similarly, you just have to work out other arrangements. For example, a gap year. If you're doing these A-level autumn series, you will need to take a gap year. It's not as if you can do these exams in autumn and go straight to uni basically the next week, because they're only marked in November, December anyway, and that's just the deal. So work out how feasible a gap year is for you. And that's the same. Maybe you started planning a gap year contingency plan before, maybe a gap year was always the plan, but work out how easy it is to plan a gap year as well. Of course, that's not the same for GCSEs, but we've talked about GCSE situations a bit earlier. So there we go. That's everything I have to say right now. Any questions, please leave them below, I'll answer them. But hopefully you found that a useful but honest overview of the autumn series. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.